In the glow of twinkling lights and the familiar cadence of carols, Christmas arrives each year like a well-worn ritual. Families gather around nativity scenes, reciting the cherished words of Luke 2, the angel's proclamation, the shepherd's oar, and the humble birth in a Bethlehem manger. It's a story of hope, joy, and divine intervention that has shaped Western culture for centuries. Yet, for modern-day Christians navigating a world of skepticism, division, and existential doubt, this annual retelling often feels sanitized, stripped of its profound cosmic and historical depth. What if we paused amid the festivities to confront a bolder truth? Christmas isn't merely a celebration of a baby's birth. It's the pivotal intrusion of eternity into a broken timeline, where the infinite Godhead voluntarily embraced vulnerability on a speck of dust in an endless cosmos. By weaving in the dark threads of human history, the rejection of the Messiah by his own people, and the staggering humility of the Incarnation, we uncover a Christmas that challenges us to live with radical faith in an age of uncertainty. To grasp this deeper significance, we must first contextualize the Nativity within the sweeping arc of human history, a narrative marred by evil from its earliest chapters. The Bible doesn't begin with Bethlehem, but with Eden, where humanity's story unfolds in paradise only to shatter through disobedience. In Genesis 3, Adam and Eve's choice to eat from the forbidden tree introduces sin, death, and chaos into creation. What follows is a cascade of depravity: Cain's murder of Abel, the corruption that prompts the flood, the hubris of Babel's tower. Evil isn't an abstract force. It's woven into the fabric of human existence, manifesting in violence, idolatry, and injustice. By the time of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the seeds of redemption are sown through God's covenant promises, yet humanity's propensity for evil persists. The Israelites' enslavement in Egypt, their wilderness wanderings filled with rebellion, and the cycles of judges and kings reveal a people perpetually straying from their Creator. This historical backdrop intensifies as we approach the era of the prophets. Isaiah, Jeremiah, and others decry Israel's unfaithfulness, the worship of false gods, exploitation of the poor, and ritualistic religion devoid of heart. Evil had infiltrated even the chosen nation, turning the law, a gift meant for holiness, into a tool of self-righteousness. Fast forward to the New Testament, and this pattern culminates in Judaism's rejection of Jesus as the Messiah. Despite centuries of prophetic anticipation, promises of a suffering servant in Isaiah 53, a king from David's line in 2 Samuel 7, the religious leaders of Jesus' day viewed him as a threat. John 1:11 laments, "He came to his own, and his own did not receive him." The Pharisees, Sadducees, and scribes, entrenched in legalism and nationalistic zeal, dismissed his miracles and teachings. They expected a military conqueror to overthrow Rome, not a humble teacher preaching love for enemies and inner transformation. This rejection wasn't merely personal. It symbolized humanity's broader rebellion against God. In a world already groaning under Roman oppression, gladiatorial brutality, and widespread paganism, the Nativity arrives as a divine counter-narrative. Luke 2's shepherds and angels aren't isolated from this. They're God's response to millennia of accumulated evil, a light piercing the deepest darkness. Yet, to fully appreciate this intervention, we must ascend beyond human history to the eternal realm. For eternity past, Jesus existed as part of the triune Godhead, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, in perfect metaphysical communion. This doctrine, articulated in councils like Nicaea and Chalcedon, describes God as three persons in one essence, co-equal and co-eternal. Before the foundations of the world, as Ephesians 1:4 suggests, the Son was in harmonious fellowship, untouched by time, space, or imperfection. Imagine an existence where love flows eternally, without beginning or end, in a state of absolute bliss and unity. The Nicene Creed affirms this: begotten of the Father before all worlds, very God of very God. In this metaphysical perfection, there was no need, no lack, only self-sufficient glory. And then the inconceivable. This eternal Son chose to step into finitude. Philippians 2:6-8 captures the essence. Who, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. Christmas marks the moment when the infinite condensed into the infinitesimal. Picture our planet, a small blue dot, as astronomer Carl Sagan famously described it, suspended in the beam of a sun ray amid the vastness of an infinite universe. With billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars, Earth's significance shrinks to near irrelevance in cosmic scales. Yet, onto this fragile orb, the creator of quasars and black holes descended as a helpless infant. For 33 years, Jesus traded divine omnipresence for the limitations of a human body, hunger, fatigue, emotions. He who spoke galaxies into being learned to speak Aramaic as a toddler. This wasn't a temporary visit. It was full immersion into vulnerability. Consider the raw humanity of those early moments. Mary's pregnancy, announced in Luke 1 by the angel Gabriel, thrust the divine plan into peril from the start. As an unwed teenager in an honor-shame culture, Mary faced ostracism, potential stoning under Mosaic law, Deuteronomy 22:23-24. Her fiat, "Let it be to me according to your word," was an act of profound trust, but it exposed the unborn Messiah to human frailty. In her womb, the eternal Word became dependent on a young woman's nutrition, safety, and faith. Morning sickness, travel on donkey back to Bethlehem, labor in a stable. These weren't poetic flourishes, but real risks. Herod's paranoia, fueled by the Magi's visit, escalated the danger. Matthew 2 recounts the slaughter of innocents in Bethlehem, a genocidal echo of Pharaoh's infanticide in Exodus. Jesus, the King of Kings, began life as a refugee. The flight to Egypt amplified this vulnerability. Warned in a dream, Joseph fled with Mary and the child, evading Herod's sword. Egypt, land of ancient idols and past oppression, became a temporary sanctuary. Here, the toddler Jesus, God incarnate, relied on human parents for protection, navigating foreign languages, cultures, and threats. This episode underscores the incarnation's stakes. The triune God risked everything. Had Herod succeeded, or bandits attacked en route, the redemption plan could have unraveled. Yet this fragility was intentional. By becoming vulnerable, Jesus identified with humanity's weakest, the oppressed, the displaced, the marginalized. In a universe where stars explode and black holes devour, God's choice to enter as a fragile child reveals a love that defies logic, a humility that shames human pride. This rejection and vulnerability climax in Jesus' ministry and death. For 33 years, he endured misunderstanding, betrayal, and hostility. Crowds flocked for miracles, but scattered at hard teachings, John 6:66. His own disciples faltered, Judas sold him for silver. The cross, a Roman instrument of terror, was the ultimate brutality: scourging, nails, asphyxiation. Isaiah 53:5 prophesied, "He was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities." Christmas, then, is the prelude to Calvary, the beginning of a mission to conquer evil, not through force, but surrender. For modern Christians, this reframed Christmas offers transformative insights. In an era of global crises, wars, pandemics, climate upheaval, we see evil's persistence, much like the ancient world. Social media amplifies division, echoing the Pharisees' self-righteousness. Yet, the Nativity reminds us that God doesn't bypass suffering. He enters it. Amid scientific wonders revealing the universe's immensity, Jesus' descent to our small blue dot affirms our value. We're not cosmic accidents, but beloved creations worth divine intervention. Moreover, Judaism's rejection challenges us to examine our own faith. Many Christians today nominalize belief, attending services without transformation, mirroring the religious elite who missed the Messiah. Christmas calls for introspection. Are we rejecting Christ in subtle ways, prioritizing comfort over costly discipleship? The vulnerabilities of pregnancy and exile speak to our anxieties. In a world of uncertainty, job loss, illness, relational strife, Jesus' story assures us God understands. Mary's journey invites trust in divine protection amid peril. As refugees flee borders today, the Holy Family's flight urges compassion, seeing Christ in the stranger. Matthew 25:35. Ultimately, this cosmic humility reorients our celebrations. Beyond gifts and feasts, Christmas is a summons to emulate the triune God's self-giving love. In small acts, forgiving enemies, serving the poor, we participate in eternity's intrusion. As we read Luke 2 anew, let's honor the full story. From Eden's fall to Calvary's triumph, the eternal Son's voluntary diminishment redeems our broken history. In this light, Christmas isn't quaint, it's revolutionary. It declares that in an infinite universe, on a tiny planet steeped in evil, God became vulnerable to save us. May this truth ignite modern faith, turning ritual into revival. Ho, 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 ho.